lie. You speak when I tell you to speak.
I understand more than you know.
Judge Raymond Cole slammed his gavel so hard it echoed like a gunshot across the courtroom. Every head turned. Every breath stopped. But the woman standing before him didn't react. No fear. No flinch. No anger. Just silence. Then calmly, she adjusted her gray sweater and said, "I understand perfectly, Your Honor, more than you could ever imagine." A faint murmur spread through the courtroom. Because something about her didn't feel right. Not dangerous. Not loud. But controlled. Like she was observing him, instead of fearing him. Judge Cole squinted at her. Just another nobody, he thought. Another overconfident citizen who didn't know how courts worked. "Name," he barked. "Dr. Evelyn Hart," she replied softly. He didn't care. He barely even looked at the file. Just another traffic case. Another fine. Another quick dismissal. That's how he liked it. Fast. Clean. Efficient. But Evelyn Hart wasn't here for speed. She was here for something else entirely. Outside the courthouse that morning, Evelyn had already decided something. She was going to sit inside the system. Without its protection. For years, she had studied judicial behavior from above. Reports. Statistics. Appeals. Complaints. But reports never told the full truth. People told the truth. Fear told the truth. Silence told the truth. So she dressed down. Gray sweater. Plain shoes. Hair tied back loosely. No indication of power. No indication of influence. Just another face in the crowd. But beneath that simplicity was one of the most powerful legal architects in the state of New York. Recently appointed to the Judicial Integrity Reform Task Force. A position that gave her authority over disciplinary recommendations for judges. Including the man sitting in front of her right now. But he didn't know that. And that was the point. Courtroom 6B was never quiet. Phones buzzing. Babies crying. Guards shouting. People shifting nervously in their seats. It wasn't a place of justice. It was a place of pressure. And Judge Cole ruled it like a factory supervisor. Next case. Next case. Next. No emotion. No patience. No listening. A young woman stood trembling at the podium. "My son was sick, Your Honor. I couldn't make it to court. I brought hospital papers." Judge Cole didn't even look at her. Excuses. Everyone has them. Guilty, $500 fine. The woman's knees almost gave out. "But I can't afford that." Then you should have thought about that before wasting the court's time. Next case. A veteran stepped forward. "I misunderstood the summons date. I served this country." Cole cut him off instantly. "I don't care who you served. You broke procedure. Fine increased. Dismissed. Next. Next. Next." Evelyn watched everything. Every pattern. Every tone shift. Every bias. She noticed something disturbing. Poor defendants were interrupted faster. Minority defendants were spoken to colder. Wealthy-looking individuals were given patience. That wasn't coincidence. That was habit. And habits in power become systems. She opened a small notebook. And began writing. Noting phrases. Tone changes. Sentence patterns. Discretion abuse. Due process violations. Each word she wrote was precise. Clinical. Controlled. Judge Cole noticed her after a while. "You there," he said sharply. "Stop writing and pay attention. This is not a classroom." Evelyn looked up. "I am paying attention, Your Honor." "Then stop taking notes like you're building a case." "I am observing court procedure." A small laugh came from Cole. "You don't observe anything here. You follow instructions." The courtroom chuckled lightly. Evelyn said nothing. And that silence irritated him more than any argument could. Finally, it happened. Case 4471. State vs. Evelyn Hart. The room shifted slightly. She stood up. Walked forward. Slow steps. Controlled breathing. No hesitation. Cole leaned back. Illegal lane violation. Guilty or not guilty? Not guilty, Your Honor. A pause. He sighed loudly. I don't have all day. Do you have representation? I am representing myself. That made him smirk. Of course. Another self-represented defendant who thought Google made them a lawyer. Then let's skip the performance. Pay the fine. With respect, Your Honor, she said gently, I would like to submit dash-cam footage proving no traffic obstruction and full compliance with road markings. The room shifted again. Cole's expression tightened slightly. Not needed. It is relevant evidence. I said not needed. Evelyn nodded slowly. I understand the court prefers efficiency, but denying evidence may violate due process under the 14th Amendment. That was it. Something in him snapped. Don't lecture me on law. His voice rose. You people come in here thinking you know better than judges. Evelyn didn't react. I am simply requesting that evidence be reviewed. You speak when I tell you to speak. Bang! The gavel struck hard. Another word and I'll hold you in contempt. The courtroom froze. Even the clerk stopped typing. But Evelyn remained still. Then softly. I understand. That calmness. That lack of fear. That's what unsettled him. So he pushed further. You are fined $300. And $500 for contempt. Pay immediately. A sharp intake of breath spread through the room. Even the bailiff looked uncomfortable. But Evelyn calmly reached into her bag. And pulled out a black card. She placed it on the podium. Processed immediately, she said. Cole frowned slightly. Something about this didn't fit his expectation. But his ego dismissed it. Pay and leave. She did. No protest. No argument. Just compliance. And that scared him more than resistance. At the clerk's desk, Evelyn made one final request. I need a certified transcript of the full proceeding. The clerk hesitated. Cole scoffed from behind. Waste your money. Read it for entertainment. Evelyn turned slightly. Her eyes met his. For the first time. He felt something he couldn't name. Not fear. Not respect. Recognition. Then she said quietly. I already have everything I need. And walked out. Outside, a black SUV waited. Door opened. Inside, her assistant spoke. Did he escalate? Evelyn exhaled. He didn't escalate, she said. He exposed himself. She opened her laptop. A folder already prepared. Judge Raymond Cole, active review file. Hundreds of entries. Years of complaints. Ignored warnings. Overturned rulings. Patterns of abuse. Evelyn didn't smile. She simply said. Begin compilation. 3 weeks later. The Judicial Ethics Gala. A room filled with judges, lawyers, politicians. Champagne. Gold lighting. Power. Judge Cole stood proudly in a tailored tuxedo. Laughing. Networking. Bragging about courtroom discipline. Lower courts require strict control, he said confidently to a federal judge. Otherwise people think they can disrespect authority. The judge he spoke to nodded politely and walked away. Cole didn't notice. He was too comfortable in his own importance. Then the lights dimmed. A voice echoed. Our keynote speaker. Dr. Evelyn Hart. Applause began. Cole clapped too. Until she walked onto the stage. And everything stopped. His breath. His confidence. His thoughts. Because he recognized her instantly. Gray sweater. Courtroom defendant. The woman he silenced. Now standing in emerald elegance. Above him. She looked across the room. Found him instantly. And smiled slightly. Then she began speaking. 3 weeks ago, I entered a municipal courtroom to observe how justice is delivered when no one is watching. Silence fell. I was fined. Silenced. And threatened with contempt for submitting lawful evidence. A folder opened. She began reading. You speak when I tell you to speak. Gasps spread. Cole froze. His hands tightened on the table. He couldn't move. Couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe properly. Because the room was turning. Against him. And he could feel it. Then she pointed directly at him. At table 7 sits Judge Raymond Cole. The room turned. Hundreds of eyes locked on him. His career didn't end slowly. It collapsed instantly. Weeks later. Suspension. Investigation. Multiple testimonies. Media exposure. Disbarment recommendation. He lost everything. His license. His pension. His reputation. Even his identity. And Evelyn? She returned to her office. City lights glowing outside her window. No celebration. No revenge smile. Just silence. Her assistant asked. Do you feel satisfied? She paused. No. Because this was never about him. It was about the system. She closed the file. And added one final note. Reform is not optional. It is necessary. And went back to work.